Morning, folks. Today's shaving cream is brought to us by Palmolive, and this one here is mentholated. This is the one I'm using today, but one of the things I've noticed, and I'm not sure how many different Palmolive shaving creams there are, this one here is Palmolive with palm extract, and then I also found another one that says Palmolive, and this one here is classic. I don't know how many different ones there are. This is just the ones that I'm aware of, and could make interesting topic to how many different ones there are. Because I didn't realize, I just this one here that's mentholated. This one here is my very first one, and didn't give it much thought until somebody mentioned it, that they didn't know that Palmolive had one that was mentholated. And the more I got to thinking about it, then I realized I wonder how many different ones there were. Anyway, just something to think about. I'm going to top off the shave with some Osage Rub, some more menthol. Still using the Proraso Preshave this morning. And got my usual suspects over here. The Crown King Alum Block complete with rubber band this morning. And Humphreys Witch Hazel that is citrus scented. Shaver of the day. This one here, I've had this shaver for a while. Finally decided to go ahead and send it to Frank to have a edge put on it. This is what it looks like. This is the case, Red Imp. It's a near wedge. I think it's like a quarter hollow or something of the sort. And I like what Steve mentioned. Steve mentioned here, the scales are a little different than what a person would typically see. In that they're shaped, at least this one here is shaped like this. Not too sure if that, I think that's typical of the Red Imp. I don't think it's typical of a lot of the other vintage shavers, just this particular one. For some reason the scales are made out of, I guess you might say, a different plastic. It's still plastic, but it seems like to me there's maybe a rubber component to it. They seem to be just a tad bit more flexible, moldable. It's a different kind of plastic. Anyway, I'm not very proficient to know all about this sort of thing when it comes to straight razors, and especially on the vintage ones, what the scales are made out of. But I'm going to give it a try this morning, see how it's going to work out for me. Yeah, I thought that I'd throw that out there about the Palmolive shaving cream. Maybe somebody might know something more about it than I do. I haven't really looked into it too terribly much outside. I found those two one day when I was looking around, see what I could find in the way of Palmolive shaving cream. I've got it whipped up here in my smooth bottom bowl. I'll show you what it looks like there on the inside here in a moment with another Maggard Razors shaving brush. Put a link down below. It whipped up, just real quick. Didn't take any time at all. And I can smell the menthol, so my nose is at least working a little bit this morning. And I did take the caps off of these other two, give it a whiff, and yeah, they're not mentholated. At least not that my nose could pick up, so I could pick it up off of the shaving cream of the other tube, the first one I got. It's not over the top menthol, just enough to let you know that it's there. I don't feel any, serious cooling effect just yet or anything quite like that. This is what it looks like here in my smooth bottom bowl, and it whipped up quite a bit. This particular knot does a really good job about whipping up shaving cream. All right, here we go. I'm going to see how it works out for me. It is I think it's a 4/8. It might be 5/8. I'm not sure. It's the I guess you might say being small kind of concerns me still. Any shaver that's small, light, anything quite like that kind of concerns me. usually a heavier shaver works well for me, especially starting out. As time goes on and I gain more experience, a smaller shaver will work better for me, I'm pretty sure, but getting that experience, still got a ways to go. Because it's about like any other shaver that I use. It's the being concerned about the amount of pressure that you put on the shaver when it's lightweight. Now when I put this in storage, I guess you might say storage, in other words, when I put it away, I plan on the oil that I use. Watched a video quite some time ago, and the recommendation was rim oil, like Remington gun oil, and pick up a small little container, I don't know, 2 ounces, which will last quite a while. It was like a couple of bucks at Walmart, so pretty inexpensive. I am still experimenting with the stropping process. So far I haven't rounded one of my edges just yet. I've got a fire hose strop, and I've got just a linen strop, and then I got leather and different kinds of leather, and so I'm kind of experimenting what works best for me, how many times I strop it on each one, so on and so forth, paste, so on. Still got a lot I'm learning on. I have read where some folks have gotten accustomed to just using a linen strop right before they take it to shave with. Something I guess you might say I'm considering doing. See how it works out. This is one of those situations where your mileage may vary when it comes to these sort of things. Depends on personal preference. Also what you're using. In other words, a carbon steel, to me, it's a softer, from what I can read and my experience has been, that it's a softer steel. And to me, it's easier to bring an edge back on a carbon steel. It takes a bit more effort. On a stainless steel, it's a harder steel. It is something to think about when you look at your straight razors and you're considering buying one. Some people like the edge that a stainless steel takes, and some like the carbon more so. To me, they do shave a bit different. It's kind of interesting. There's a lot to learn, in other words. And I guess you might say there's only a certain amount of reading, watching YouTubes and whatnot that a person can absorb, and it gets to the point where he's going to have to jump in and start, experiencing it to figure out what works best for you. Gain some experience with it, and to see if it's even for you. So far, this is all the further I went. I haven't bought any honing stones or anything like that. To me, I think just wrapping my mind around the stropping and the material you use to strop with and so on and so forth is, that's where I'm at right now. I think that's where I was also more or less stopped in my progression and learning until I wrap my mind around how I want to strop and what I want to strop with and all that sort of thing, and how each razor responds to all that. Because some believe or what works best for them, maybe is a better way of putting it. That fewer strops are better. Some believe that it takes more. I'm kind of experimenting in between right there. At least what I'm considering a few versus a whole lot more. I don't think it'll take very many more shaves with this one here before I get used to it. It still has a little bit of weight to it. It's not, super light, and it seems to feel pretty good in the hands. Even though it's not a big shaver, that's for sure. I did shave with this yesterday, and I tell you what, um, I didn't cut myself, but I did stop just in time. And it reminded me of shaving with a shavette. Every once in a while, getting the angle off right through here and right back over here is really funny. I realized, I do the same thing with the shavette that I'm doing with the straight razor. I can't hardly wait till I get more experience with this because I can feel how it's shaving, and it's pretty comfortable. Matter of fact, I don't think I mentioned the model number on here, and I don't know that you could actually see it. I'll dry this off and see if I can't get a good picture here. This one here is a 132. Sometimes you might see a 133. I don't know if the camera will pick that up. And this is what the other side looks like. Like I said, this is a near wedge. That shows you anything at all. It's a nice shaver. Frank did a good job on this one here. It almost feels like a, guess you might say like a daily shaver to me. Something that's easy to use. The blade's not real big, and that might be something to consider. It's not, in other words, it's easy to see around for those that may have the concerns about that kind of issue. In other words, a 7/8, you know how wide those are. They're pretty wide, and if you're concerned about seeing around the blade, maybe a one that's not quite as wide might work better for you. Shaving cream did pretty good. Can't complain. Face feels fairly well moisturized. Doesn't feel dried out. Still got a lot of residual slickness. This was a fun shave. I was really looking forward to this one here. Like I said, I've had this shaver for mercy well over a year, and just getting my mind right. I guess you might say in the right frame of mind to start straight razor shaving more on a regular basis, because there is so much to learn, and get to the point where I'm comfortable with it. In other words, I'm done all the research I think I could possibly do, at least mind-wise, and videos, and as it goes up to this particular point. Yeah, I did get it off. As much as I tried not to, I still got it off. That is from yesterday, right back there. Got just a little bit of stinging back there. Still got some, probably can't see, I got a big old clump of shaving cream over here. Humphreys Witch Hazel. think I'm going to look for the other version of this one here that I think is a 5/8. This might be 4/8. I didn't take time to measure it. There's another one that's a little bit bigger than this one here, and it's a more of a, maybe like a 3/4 hollow grind as opposed to a near wedge. Face feels really good. Enjoyable shave this morning. Still excited about this shaver. Osage Rub. This is I'll put a link down below, I'll find it. And I've had this one for a while. It's inexpensive, and 414 milliliters, 14 ounces, and that is what the restrictor looks like. Inexpensive. It's not necessarily over the top in my opinion, but it is a good menthol feeling, cooling effect. I would say it is definitely a touch stronger than if you run down any Barbasol. And I still have a little bit of Barbasol of the Pacific Rush. This one here I don't think you can find anymore. At least I know I haven't. From what I understand, it's out of production, but yeah, this definitely has that menthol. Works well for my nose. Scents like this I just really love. Feel that cooling effect on the face. Not that I had a bad shave anyway. This was a really nice smooth shave. Like I said, just had the one stinging right back there. Eventually, maybe one day I'll get used to it and stop doing that. Hope everybody's doing well. Stay safe and healthy, and smooth shaves to you.